I hate sand!
God.
It's coarse and it gets in between my fingers!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Attack of the Podcast.
I'm Griffin.
I'm David. Sims.
This is our podcast where we investigate the second Phantom Menace movie, the sequel to the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Star Wars Episode 2,
It's
Attack
a
the Clones.
Star Wars movie. You insist on calling it a Phantom Menace movie. It's
Well-
George Lucas's unfinished Star Wars saga.
I mean,
It's just you're so attached to the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the original and
I was
best.
trying to think of an example, but I guess most of them don't work. I was going to say, well, you call Dark Knight a Batman movie.
It's a Nolan Batman movie. Yeah, and they
Yeah.
call that the Dark Knight trilogy, which
Right.
is so annoying.
Right. I hate, well, this is a whole other podcast, but I deeply hate the fact that the third one's called The Dark Knight Rises.
So stupid.
Because that's like, if you call like, it's like sequelizing the sequel title
Right.
specifically.
It would be like if you made a sequel to The Phantom Menace called like The Phantom Menace Returns or The
Yeah.
Phantom Menace Strikes or something like
Yeah.
that.
It'd be like if George ever got off his butt and made a third Star Wars movie and it was called The Attack of the Clones again.
Yeah. Return of the Attacking Clones.
Yeah. The Attack of the Clones Strike Back.
All right, let's stop.
Okay, we have a guest this week. What?
Yeah, Rachel Dolezal.
Oh,
we previewed
boy.
it last week.
We did. We talked about it a lot. Half right. Her name is Rachel.
That's true.
Rachel Lang.
Hi, Rachel.
Hello.
Our
I'm
good
Rachel.
friend. Our former trivia teammate.
Yep.
What teams were we on together? We were on Vin Diesel, Pig in the City.
Yeah, I think.
Briefly.
I'm
I
not sure if
think I-
Rachel was on that one.
I think that's
actually.
when we all started to drift apart.
That's how-
I
Okay.
really fought for that name so hard, and
I
then
know.
it came
Yeah.
and I was gone.
There were like multiple ballots where Vin Diesel, Pig in the City was the runner-up.
Right. Two
'Cause there
seasons in
was-
a row it was the runner.
There was Too Fast, Too Mama, Tambien.
probably our best name ever.
Pretty
Give it-
good one.
William H. Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
That
Yes.
one was incredible.
Yeah.
That one was like a total out of nowhere smash hit.
It was
Remember,
a
like
Cinderella story.
you scribbled it down like
Yeah.
and started laughing, and I was like, wait, I don't even get it. And then I was like, oh, Macy's like the store, and then I was like, oh, that's actually really good because imagine if the parade was just William H. Macy.
And imagine him at the front, just with a little
Grand
baton
Marshal.
beaming.
And then I just couldn't let it go. And maybe I'd seen a picture of William H. Macy that day, and so I was just thinking about him with his mustache.
We were reading that Onion article. That's one of my favorite pieces of comedy writing ever, which is,
What is it?
like 10 different names for William H. Macy in different cultures. It's
Yes,
written as if
yes.
William H. Macy is Santa Claus, and each culture has a different lore for William H. Macy. It's one of my favorite pieces of comedy writing in history. Rachel,
Yes.
Hi, Rachel.
Hello.
you're only the second guest we've had on this show.
That's
It's
true.
an honor, and I would never have invited myself, and I'm so glad that you guys thought to invite me, and I did not demand to be put on this podcast.
You didn't demand,
You didn't demand.
but you wrote us a plaintive and moving email.
It was a real plea, a cry of passion and
Yeah.
intention.
and memory.
Yeah,
for
Memory,
how you felt about
nostalgia.
this film and this romance, this sand. What's the word? What does it get between?
It's
your
coarse.
fingers? Yeah, this coarse romance.
yeah.
This sandy romance.
But this is the important part. We're after weeks of putting it off. This is the romance episode. We're getting into the romance, which is perhaps the quote unquote emotional core of the film.
I guess so. Is it?
Well, it's supposed to be.
It's this like huge thing that had not even be. There's no. Well, I guess there's a little bit laid out in the first movie, but the second
Are
movie,
you an
it just,
angel?
right. The second movie, it's like this. It's like this is the central conflict of the movie.
Right.
Anakin's inner war between like being a Jedi and being in love.
Yeah. Now, we have danced around the subject because we didn't want to blow the load. We knew
Yeah.
we were going to talk about this at an episode length. Where this plotline's not very effective for either of us.
No.
And was not when we saw the film. You,
No.
Rachel,
We were gross teenage boys.
We were
let's
gross
remember.
teenage boys.
We were like, yeah.
I was 13 years old.
Yep.
When I saw this movie 4 times in theaters.
2002.
And I thought it was the most beautiful love story I had ever seen. Ever. And I think I still thought that until about the year 2007.
was there a rewatch at that point, or did you just...
I had seen it a lot since then.
And me and Rachel, before the podcast, we're talking about John Williams' love theme
Mm-hmm.
and how much you cared about that.
I think that really contributed to my misconception of
It's not a misconception. It's just it was your
yeah.
conception.
my incorrect opinion of how beautiful this love story is. There's a whole featurette on the special features about love. I don't know if you guys watched.
I'm pretty sure I watched it
Recently.
at some point. Maybe not recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
I watched it at 8 a.m. this morning.
Yeah.
It was great.
But so Across the Stars
Yes.
is the main track.
Yes.
Uh
Across the Stars, parentheses, love theme.
huh. You had sort of intense fandom specifically for that track.
Yes. I went to see John Williams conduct the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra.
When you were about, how old were you?
I think probably 14. I
Sure.
think he came
Yeah.
by the next year.
Right.
It was a year. Your love for their love was still lingering.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sure I watched the film before I went to see the music played live, just to
Right.
get a taste of like the recorded track, so I
Mhm.
could compare it with the live orchestrations. And they did not disappoint. I cried. I absolutely sobbed and
You
cried.
wept in public.
I wept. I'll add that I saw this. I mean, I was in a full audience, but no one in my family would come with me,
Yeah,
so
sure.
I was there alone.
Sure.
Wow. At
Uh,
age 14. Well, I guess, yeah,
Yes.
that's old enough.
I was very cultured. So.
It is, what was I going to say? I wanted to ask, so if this was the transcendent romance for you in 2002, like what was it topping? Like, did you feel that way about Titanic or like Ever After? I'm trying to think about like the romantic, the big romantic movies of our youth.
Yeah,
for
was this the
kids and
first
teens.
one where you felt that strongly about a love in film, in cinema,
'Cause I
or
feel
was
like-
this replaced?
I would absolutely say that it was.
Okay.
This was the first one. You never felt this strongly.
I-
Yeah, wow.
I loved Titanic.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's one of the, I think it's the second VHS I ever bought. The first is Miss Congeniality.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, I loved it, thought it was great. Was barely allowed to watch it because there were boobies in it.
Uh-huh.
And there's one thing that my parents don't like, boobies.
Yeah.
So
Attack of the Clones could have done with some more boobies.
I think
Could have
so.
done some more
Yeah.
boobs.
It does have that midriff bearing
So
section. for
artfully
Padmé.
cut off.
Mhm.
And I was
Yeah.
going to say, in the arena at Genosis, the pillars look a lot like vaginas.
Well,
Interesting.
even the,
Yeah.
actually, I was noticing this too. The whole platform that they're on is covered in vaginal imagery.
Thank you. Okay, Ben was shaking his head. You have
Ben's
noticed
wrong.
this.
Yeah.
Right?
No, they're vaginas.
They're
I
vaginas.
asked my girlfriend. They are vaginas. We
There
are
you
big
go.
vagina experts. We know what they look like. Those are vaginas.
That's two women watching the movie together,
Mhm.
both of whom have vaginas, confirming that I am not a dirty-minded boy, that I am on the money, Ben. I say as I point at his face, Ben.
You haven't introduced Ben, by the way.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh, God.
producer Ben, a.k.a. producer Ben, a.k.a. the Ben Deucer, a.k.a. the Poet Laureate, a.k.a. the Haas, a.k.a. Mr. Positive himself.
Hello, Fennel.
Hello, Fennel.
Hello, Fennel. Yeah, I guess I missed the vagina imagery.
You
I
should
also
watch it
did,
again.
but I wouldn't, I just need to remind myself of what it looks like. I can't remember what you guys are talking
What a
about.
vagina, looks
vagina?
like? You forgot what a vagina.
Yeah, what are those things again?
They look like it's like a part of a human body that looks like the pillars in the arena of Genosis.
Yeah, okay.
But made of flesh and not stone.
Yeah, it's not ringing any bells, but anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'll Wikipedia later.
You know, we'll Google it, you and I, David, later when we're done.
In this small booth that we're in right now.
With no windows. You and I. Close the door.
Okay,
There's a detail.
young romance.
Well, yeah, but you in the email, you wrote like a kind of an essay.
Wait, I might want to find it actually. Wait,
I was
you guys
overcome
talk.
with passion.
Yeah,
I
no,
would
because
say.
we have to address several points in this. It was like you wrote like, I'm enjoying the show a lot. You've gotten to Attack of the Clones. I have a very strong connection to this movie. I want to explain to you my bona fides. And then went like, I understand if you don't want to guess, but just putting out there, I'm ready to talk about it. And we immediately went like, we can't deny this. We got to have Rachel on the
Right.
show.
Yeah.
But there's some detailed points that we skimmed over here. So you went to the concert by yourself.
Yes, I did. And I remember that I, was crying. And then
A lot.
A lot. Like tears. Like many tears. Like my shirt got a little wet,
Yep, right.
And I was like, oh, God. I don't remember what I was wearing, but I know that it was like something that a sad suburban girl who's pretty fat near Pittsburgh would wear because they thought it was a nice dress-up outfit to wear to a concert. And then I made my dad pretty cheap guy, and I begged and I begged and I begged to get the extra like $50 thing where you got to meet and greet John Williams.
Whoa.
And he did.
Wow. But he didn't come with you.
No.
He just
That
ponied
would
up
have
the
been
50
another
bucks.
like
Right.
$70.
Yeah, right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I went and I stood just like shaking in line as like mothers introduced their like trumpet playing sons to John Williams, and it was amazing. But I was like, oh my God, I don't play an instrument. I don't belong here. This is awful. And then I finally got next in line, and I got a big sweaty hug from John Williams.
Aw.
Conducting is hard work.
Yeah, post-conducting. So he had worked up this. Yeah, that's a real. There's a lot of vigor.
Drenched in sweat.
Yep.
And I don't remember what I said, but he signed my copy of the CD
Of the Attack of the Clones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had the one that had Yoda with the little lightning force ball that he's collected, and I still have that.
That's signed by
yes.
J.W.
Yes.
I love John Williams, by the way. I love him on any DVD for a movie that he composed. Like he always he talks like very, very passionately about what he's doing, even if like we were talking about. Sometimes he rips himself off.
Well,
a little bit.
I was watching these featurettes this morning.
Very invested.
And he has the most intelligent things. It's like he's the only one who really like understands what storytelling maybe is.
Yeah. Well, his movie is like the primary form of. I mean, his music is the primary form of storytelling in so many movies. That he worked on. It is like that. The music is what is guiding you through more than anything else.
In this movie, I would say the audience would not know how to feel about things at all.
Definitely.
Were the music not there.
I just want to read a couple things from Rachel's emails.
Yeah, sure.
One is that you saw it 4 times in theaters, wrote fan fiction for a school assignment in Miss Garlington's 8th grade language arts class.
Yes.
We got to get back to that.
Great.
And then she went on leave in the middle of the year with no notice.
Yes.
Sorry if we can bleep out her name if you want to.
No, keep it. I don't know where she is or if she still exists or...
Did she give you a good grade for this?
Yeah, I think
Or was it like you handed in the work and then she vanished? That would have been even better.
I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm not responsible for her leaving, but I wouldn't say it was because my work was bad. I definitely got no lower than a B.
Mm-hmm.
And I only know that for sure because my first C was in geometry class.
Mm-hmm.
That same year.
And that was a devastating.
That was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Now, I have to ask because David, historically, for some reason, hates fan fiction. I'm a huge fan. I love supporting the arts.
Did you listen to our fan fiction
episode? I did listen to your fan fiction episode while I was cooking dinner. Boy, did it get hot in there.
What was the nature of your fan fiction? Can you give us a brief summary?
Oh, yeah, that's right, of course.
Sadly, it was not erotic at all.
Oh.
It was a battle. There's there's a line you may remember in Attack of the Clones where Obi-Wan says something like, "Why do I get the feeling you're going to be the death of me?"
Yeah.
It's a great line.
And I thought, oh, this sounds like it's, foreshadowing
Sure.
something.
Yeah.
It feels very weighted.
Yeah, thuddingly obvious foreshadowing, perhaps.
Yes. Even at 13.
Yeah, you're like,
I was like, this pounding in my head is, I think it's sinking in. So I wrote a battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Wow.
It took place, I know, on like grassy hillsides, but there were also some rocks. And I remember vividly.
So it's kind of like the places where Anakin and Padme roll around.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they do roll around.
Yeah.
I think it might have been on Naboo. It's totally possible. I remember that there was a lot of crunching of bones in that story.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I was getting pretty dark.
Considering that mostly they'd probably just be chopping each other up with like laser swords.
Yeah, I think that maybe like I didn't understand what a lightsaber does to
Were
a
they
body.
using lightsabers?
They were, but maybe the crunching was like a hurdling of rocks.
Oh, yeah, sure.
happening.
I know, they could blast each other around with force shoves.
Maybe I was inspired
Who
by
knows?
the Yoda and Dooku force
Definitely.
shoves.
They could also just punch each other in the bones. That was an option. I mean, just because they have lightsabers and force powers doesn't mean they
That's
won't.
the thing. They fight in a very limited way considering they're like, wizards. Who
Yeah.
can, why don't they just like crunch each other up with their hands, like with their force hands?
Even I feel like during the battle on Geonosis, it takes so long for any force to really get used in an impressive way.
Yeah.
And you're like, why? What is even the point of this training?
It's somewhat unimaginative.
Yeah.
One other thing from your email.
Sure.
When you went to the concert and wept openly, you made a lot of awkward eye contact with an older woman sitting next to you who you later ran into at either a Marshall's or a TJ Maxx. Mm-hmm. Have you yet later unpacked which one it was?
I am leaning toward TJ Maxx.
Right. Interesting.
And
why?
you decided to engage this person in conversation. She was nice and politely pretended to remember me.
Yes. I said, oh, you were at the John Williams concert.
We looked at each other a lot.
And she just sort of was like, he's great.
That's John
And
Williams.
That was it. I went on buying oversized polo shirts.
Yeah, man. 2002.
Yeah.
Or
Great
three.
time for me. Physically,
For us all.
emotionally.
This is the thing. I'm older than you guys. I was 16 when I saw this film.
Right.
And
We were 13. Yeah.
Yeah, I was 13 when I
Yeah.
saw it.
So I was more of a grown up, a little bit.
Oh boy.
But I
16,
hated the
yeah.
romance too.
Yeah, 16-year-old grown up. You and Anakin.
So grown up.
Two super fucking mature 16-year-olds who are a pain in the ass.
But I think me and you were probably simpatico on how we felt about this romance, Griffin.
It did not work for me emotionally at the time. I did not dislike it at the time. I will say. I just felt neutral. I went, oh, that's how the story's progressing.
It just felt like it's like, oh yeah, this is sort of unnecessary. There needs to be some kind of conflict.
Yeah,
they're laying ground for whatever later problems.
right. Whatever
Conflict.
movies he wanted to make that he never
Yeah.
got to.
But let's talk about this romance.
Right, it didn't work for us. Rachel, it worked for you at the time, and now you're implying it does not work for you anymore. It does not hold.
Well, I'm 26 years old now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very good
Thank
job.
you so much. 26 and a half. Oh my, time flies. And I feel that even since high school, I've realized that movies that I thought were amazing are actually pretty bad.
You work in film.
I work in film.
Yeah. You
and
watch a lot of movies.
I watch a lot. I mean, basically, I'm an adult and not a 13-year-old, and I sort of have a basic understanding of storytelling and emotions.
I see. And in retrospect, you're like,
yes,
there's some structural, there's some groundwork here.
Issues, yeah.
You're a builder checking the foundation, and you're like, this isn't gonna. You shouldn't buy this house.
Yeah, I've reinvestigated and realized that it's pretty awful.
Yeah.
By the time I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It ends on this beautiful secret wedding.
It's true.
I thought that was great. I thought it was great.
I like the secret wedding.
I love the secret
I think
wedding.
the secret wedding's actually kind of cool because it's like they're not talking to each other, which really really improves everything because the talking is really where things fall apart.
George has fucking said that he views these as silent movies, and I say in response, put your fucking money where your mouth is.
It's totally true.
Shut your yap.
That shot of her like holding his like metal hand,
Yeah.
and then like the sun is setting, and like it's all in, that's good.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You feel like they're at George Clooney's lake house. It's
They probably were.
right, yeah.
Here's
Como.
George Clooney's Potbelly Pig was probably still alive at that point, though. His Potbelly Pig Max, who I like to think about a lot. I often think about the fact that George Clooney used to live with a Potbelly Pig called Max.
He and
who
Kelly
was his
Preston
best
adopted
friend.
it together, and then Kelly Preston left him, right?
Wait, Kelly, isn't she married to John Travolta? Did she date George Clooney for
Yeah.
a while?
She also dated Charlie Sheen, and they broke up because Charlie Sheen shot her with a bullet. That's 100% true.
Did he fire that bullet from a gun?
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks,
He put
Charlie.
a bullet in a gun and shot it at his girlfriend.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen. He's great.
Yeah. Kelly Preston, good run of boyfriends.
Yeah, seriously. Now she's with Travolta. No problems there.
Loves women.
All right, okay. You might conceively work with John Travolta
Never.
or Kelly Preston one day.
Never. The list of people who will never hire me is growing episode by episode.
Yep. All right. We have to talk about this romance.
Well, this is a theory I want to throw out just quickly.
All right.
Listen.
Ben's just laughing because I keep being like, all right, so let's actually talk about this.
What would happen if we turned Attack of the Clones into a silent movie? If we, fucking converted to grayscale?
Why does it have to be black and white? Can't be color?
Just
Just the old-timey. There's like a ding, ding, ding. Yep.
No, but you cut all the dialogue out
Yeah.
and use limited title cards in which you rewrote the dialogue to make it less wooden. Do you think the movie would kind of work?
Probably because Hayden Christensen is such a horrific overactor that would probably work if he wasn't talking. All the all his facial contortions.
Right. He's doing too much with the face.
I absolutely agree.
It would be weird to see a silent movie though, where the production values were so splendid and there were these massive computer generated fights
In black and white.
Whereas in silent movies, you sort of think of sort of people like swinging at each other,
Yeah.
and then like it cuts to black and one of them's falling on the floor or whatever. I don't know.
You speed it up a little so it's over crank.
Yeah, exactly.
The black and white would actually work really well for the factory, the conveyor belt
That
thing.
would be.
You know,
I mean,
Yeah.
The Factory, that is basically a silent movie,
yeah.
and is like, it's like out of a Harold Lloyd movie. I think you said on an earlier episode the whole R2 and C-3PO.
Oh yeah, the
you
head
know,
swaps.
jonesing around. Yep,
Jonesing around.
jonesing around.
Okay, so
We're
onto
gonna
the
do a whole
romance.
episode on the head swap, right?
Yeah, one episode on the head swap.
Yeah. I love it.
Anakin and Padmé.
Okay, so we talked about the beginning of this a lot already last week and the week before, where like
Don't
the.
stop fucking talking about her.
Well,
in
no,
that
I just want
elevator.
just quickly, like there's
Oh,
that
yeah.
scene at the beginning where Anakin is like basically just saying to Obi-Wan like,
Right, the
"Man,
elevator
I'm
scene,
so
yeah.
in love with Padme, she don't know who I am." Right? Like we got that.
Your Hayden Christensen sounds a little Lou Ferrigno-y right now.
What if Lou Ferrigno had played Anakin Skywalker?
I love Padme. Padme, the love of my life.
And then there's that thing really early on where she turns off the camera in her bedroom because she doesn't want him to look at her
Is he fucking
in the
creep?
bedroom. Yeah,
I
which
wouldn't
is
want that either.
No.
I think she made the right choice.
she totally did.
Do you guys
Uh,
think there's any symbolism in the fact that the
worms.
worms, these girthy, slimy worms?
I'm glad you're getting to
Oh,
this.
God, female perspective. This is what we needed on this podcast.
Crawling up her body,
crawling up her body, all up in her bed,
and then
trying to kill her.
He like
Yeah.
he removes them without touching her. Like there's this whole thing. He can't like touch her for a long time.
Yeah.
When do they get? Jesus! I just rewatched this movie and I don't even remember like when it switches from her being like, "You're a gross weird teenager, stop bothering me," to like, "Oh, we're actually in love with each other."
Well, I think it sort of starts when she's packing her own luggage. This is a person who has
Where's
body
Rose
doubles
Byrne? Yeah.
who will sacrifice their lives for her, but she's packing her own luggage that
Her
looks like
space
she
luggage.
bought it at JFK.
She bought it at the terminal.
Yeah.
She
It
showed
looks
up to the airport with a bunch of garbage bags.
full of her headdresses.
I was like, I'll buy a suitcase later.
So she's packing up her suitcase, and he's floating that little ball and is like, whatever, complaining about something. And I don't remember what he says.
That's what he's always doing.
Always.
I don't remember what he says, but she turns and she looks at him and she goes, Annie, you've grown up. And like he
Right.
stares at her, and then we get like another beautiful wipe to whatever happens next in this movie.
And we've talked about it before. The movie does this really smart thing where it ping pongs between like Obi-Wan solving the mystery and Anakin and Padme hanging out, just hanging out.
You never stay on one for more than like 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's just like doink, doink, doink,
Yeah.
doink. Yeah, because it's like the movie knows, like, okay, this Padme stuff really sucks. But don't worry, Obi-Wan's like, fighting Jango Fett, and he's got a spaceship chase, and like, there's going to be stuff to kind of move it along.
Yeah. I have started rewatching only the sections of the film that pertain to our subject for the
yeah,
week.
sure.
Not out of laziness, because if I watch the whole movie,
Yeah,
details
you
pop
lose
out of my
it.
brain.
Yeah, you lose it immediately. This movie is much harder to hold on to than Phantom is, I think.
It's got no stickiness.
It really doesn't.
Okay,
God.
so there's that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go. He accompanies her to the meeting with the queen.
Right. Well, first they dress as refugees.
Yeah, right. They
Yeah,
get on the
which
transport. Yeah.
He is dressed like a refugee. He has like dirt on his stuff, and she's still wearing a headdress that
Yeah.
she's just covered with a fancy lace thing.
Yeah, she can't chill out with
No.
the clothes. She never can, which I admire.
Sure.
You
I
know,
mean,
Padme's got her. Yeah, that's
Well,
her vice.
but if you're in hiding, anyway. So
Rachel,
She's not that into being in hiding though, because she
No.
keeps
Oh.
like defying the like. Why don't we just not go anywhere? And she's like, no, we'll go to this like retreat in Naboo. No one will find us, and then let's go to Tatooine. No one will
Yeah.
find us.
I also think every time she says the word senator, she says it super loudly. She's like, I'm a senator. Rachel, just quickly before we move on, yes, Padme Dolezal.
Yes, Padme Dolezal.
Look,
Thank you.
I'll take it back.
700%.
Look,
Thank you.
I take it back. I rewatched the scene after we talked about it,
Right?
and it's like, oh my god,
Her hair is teased.
her
like,
hair is complete, but also she is brown.
Yeah,
like
right.
she's very tan.
Right?
It's,
And I think you might be right that it was just the Sydney sun.
It might be the Sydney sun and bad makeup job over
I
the
think-
sun.
because Anakin looks. I was watching some special features too, and his some featurettes and stuff, and his makeup is really dark and weird and
Weird.
inappropriate for a white person to have on there.
And it was digital video, and they might not have known how to light.
Yeah,
and,
it might have
yeah.
just been that. They were like, yeah, well, how much makeup do we need to put on these guys? Because this is digital video. It's going to be way more like we're going to see everything a
Yeah.
little more clearly.
I think
don't
it was a perfect storm of all factors. Okay, so they're hiding out like common peasants.
And she asks like a tough question. She's like, it must be hard, like giving up whatever, like you're not allowed to love, or like
Right.
swearing your love to the Jedi.
Which is like news to us, basically. You might have inferred it before then, but this is us.
I infer it, but I'm a genius.
Yeah, that's what it
to
is.
the common viewer, this is new. This is the first time we, the audience, are
It's
directly
like she's
being
saying,
told.
like, so can't. Yeah.
No.
Which is such a like shitty thing to
It
say.
is.
It's like walking up to a
What's that
paraplegic
like?
and going like, "Oh, must suck not being able to walk places."
Or even just going up to say like a priest or someone and being like, "What's it like not having sex? Like, what's that like?"
Oh, I never think about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You mean the thing that like my job is defined by, basically? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like the first thing she says to him on their trip together, which
Right.
is nice.
Yeah,
It's a nice
yeah.
way to
Maybe
ease
she's
in.
trying to deflate the tension.
Sure,
She's
sure.
just reminding him like, "You're not allowed to be in love, you creep."
I think she's dealing with these new feelings. He is a taller, more grown up person than the last time she saw him.
Do you think he's a handsome man? Like, or at 13, where he has sort of a teen idol kind of quality to him.
Yeah, that's a great question. Did you find them dreamy, or do you find the bond they had dreamy?
And their forbidden romance.
I would say all of the above.
Fair enough.
I found
Interesting. Okay.
I found him dreamy, although like the more I watched it, I remember being really grossed out because I thought his fingers were too long. I thought they were
Interesting.
creepy and spider fingers.
So you prefer the robot hand?
Reply to us,
I like the
hashtag
robot.
spider fingers.
Yeah,
if,
spider
if
fingers,
you
yes or
agree with
no?
Rachel, spider
Yeah.
fingers.
Spider
Hashtag
fingers.
spider fingers.
Yeah, I thought they were disgusting. So I was really happy when he lost that one hand. It was a great improvement.
5 down, 5 to go.
And you know,
Natalie looks great, though.
she looks great.
Yeah.
And
Especially once she's out of that first Dolezal costume. She does settle. Like, the hair is back to...
She's doing a reverse Dolezal. She's slowly turning back into a white woman.
Right.
I feel like they give her sort of softer, more inviting costumes as the movie goes on. Apart
right.
from the whole nightgown thing, that's like a fluke. But you know,
Mhm. And then, And then in the gladiator arena, she's got this. Sort
Yeah,
of, it's.
this
I mean, it's like almost like she's in
form-fitting-
her workout clothes.
sure.
Yeah, she just randomly chooses to put on a sleek,
Yeah, a
flexible
white
jumpsuit
skin
right
suit,
before
yeah.
they stumble into a giant action set
Well,
piece.
she does put on a shawl above that. I was noticing she puts on a
Oh,
woolly
true,
shawl
true.
on this desert.
Yeah, they're on a hot desert planet, like ruled by insects. It's probably not shawl appropriate weather.
Yeah, but girl
part of
got to
the
get that
outfit.
shawl game on.
keep the look
Part of the
together.
outfit. Yeah.
That's a look.
It's funny that Anakin is never like, you wear a lot of clothes. Like, he never calls her out on it.
I just got this one fucking robe that I dyed black in my sink.
She's like calling him out on being, chaste. He
Yeah.
can't be like, yeah, well, what's it like wearing so many stupid clothes?
Well, he does. I mean, he makes fun of her for being a politician.
Yes, there's a lot of discussion on how he thinks politicians suck and like the universe should be ruled by a tyrant.
Well, he goes,
Or him.
this is my favorite dialogue exchange in the
Forgot
film.
about all of that. He's like, I don't know, like one guy should make all the decisions. There, I solved your problem.
No, first he says, I think all the people should sit in a room together
Right,
and
and-
discuss how things should work out. And she's like, yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, have you ever been to the Senate? You live on cars. So
Yeah.
It is like, do you read a newspaper?
Yeah, but I don't believe in politics. What do you think they should do? They should sit in the room and negotiate. That's what that's the fucking
That's
system.
it. That's the thing.
And he's like, but then how come it doesn't work? It's like, well, sometimes people don't agree. And then his response is, well, someone should make them agree. And so, well, then now, no.
Why would she be attracted to this man? He's like an idiot. He's
Yeah.
a simpleton.
Yeah.
And he's a child like about this stuff. He hasn't thought things. What is attractive about
I
this?
think.
Nothing.
Well, her last boyfriend, who she mentions,
Yes, who's now an
is
artist.
Paolo, the artist.
Paolo the artist.
And I think maybe she needed a change of pace from Paolo, who was in this like whatever senator baby boot camp.
Right.
With
Yeah,
her?
he was in the Young Republicans program or whatever.
This is an important point to note, is their hideout. So they go to the queen. The queen's like, you should lay low.
Yeah. There's a new queen. Looks, the same kind of finery as Padme.
Yeah, she's about 6.5 years old. Oh, she's probably like 14, 15.
She's
right?
good. I like her.
Yeah.
And Sio Bibble's still there, like tearing his hair out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're like, you should go here. And Anakin's like, wait, what? I don't have say in this? And they're like, that's
Excuse
true.
me, I'm in charge of security.
We should listen to the Jedi Knight. And she's like, he's not a knight, he's just an apprentice.
Yeah, she really shuts him down.
There's a weird hot and cold
yeah,
thing.
she's
'cause-
negging him bad.
For sure,
Yeah.
a power play going on,
Yep.
and I love it.
and very much in public. Like in public.
Yeah.
It's not just that she's trying to cover up her emotion. She like shits on him.
Yeah.
to like a weird degree. And then when they're
Although,
alone,
she's right too, because he is an apprentice, and God knows why he was put in charge of this job. Like,
and he's a little shit.
yeah,
too.
he sucks,
needs to be
and his
put in
ideas are
place.
bad.
His dad, his fucking Jedi dad, let him go out of control. Someone needs to like rein him in a little bit. But she goes, I know this great place we can stay. Cut to Obi-Wan, cut back to, here's the place. And she's like, oh, this is where we used to go on our retreats from school.
A place
Naboo
that can
is
be
so fucked up.
directly connected to me. If someone were trying to find me,
Right.
I've been here many times
Yeah,
before.
it's
Everyone
like
knows.
using your phone number as your password.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
like the most obvious.
Well,
like,
She used to be the queen. Well, we know she went to that one school that produces queens. Where did that school consistently go on retreats because school was so tough? We could take a trip to DC for the weekend? No, we're going to go to this lush forest and ride ballsack butthole creatures.
Those things
They
are
look
bizarre.
like ticks. They're ticks.
yeah, they're like giant ticks.
Yeah.
Can we also talk
I argue
about,
they look like ballsack
Can we
buttholes.
talk
Sure,
about the
okay,
fact
fine.
that they go back to Naboo after the life-changing events of Phantom Menace, and this is years later, and there is no sign that the Gungans are involved in like policy making, except that Jar Jar is whatever, like a junior senator or something.
But at the end
Like
of
that, why
yeah.
isn't he there with the Queen?
At
Why
the
isn't
end
there
of
a
Phantom
Gungan?
Menace, they hold the orb up together, Boss Nass
Peace.
and Amidala, and it's like, oh, finally we're a united people. And in this one, it's like, stay in your fucking river,
Yeah,
you
we
dirty
don't
Gungans.
see the Gungans.
Yeah. I don't know what to say.
They're
about that.
staying
Sorry.
under.
They're gone.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm like the whole like 1%ness of Naboo in general, and like how everything has
Yeah.
to be a palace basically, and like it's not helped by this retreat.
Yeah. Okay, so this retreat, she talks about her ex-boyfriend, Paolo.
Yes,
Mm.
Paolo.
I forgot his name was Paolo.
The opening of this scene, this is one of my favorite first lines you can ever have for a scene. Obi-Wan's investigating. Hard cut to the two of them on a field. She goes, I don't know. The opening line of the scene is, I don't know. And he goes, come on, you know. And she's like, no, I don't. And he's like, I'll use my fucking Jedi mind tricks if you don't tell me. And she's like, okay. His name was Paolo. So he's like grilling her about,
Yeah, he's like, come on.
there was one guy.
Right.
Yeah.
I would love to watch a whole movie about where Paolo is now, and like
That should be a spinoff.
I would 100%.
He should be played
watch
by
that.
Oscar Isaac.
Oh, he'd be great.
Yes.
God, he'd be so good in a Phantom Menace movie.
Ugh, I agree.
Mm.
She doesn't talk about how she and Sia Bibble obviously were having an affair the whole time when she was the queen, though.
No question.
Yeah. Well, like, why isn't that addressed?
But
Is Sia Bibble just like the concubine? Like that's his actual role?
this is an important point. Why is she attracted to Anakin? Well, she's been spending all her time with like fucking stodgy
Yep.
old dudes
And Jar Jar Binks.
and racist aliens. You know, like here's one person who's vaguely her age.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
And-
she's a little girl thrown into politics with
Yeah.
aliens and old men.
Right.
And he's kind of a bad boy.
Yeah.
Like, I think that I've
he's
literally
handsome.
heard him referred to as a bad boy by Natalie Portman. Like,
Yeah.
Very
Oh,
excited.
in a featurette, she's like,
Yeah,
ooh,
she's
he's
like,
a bit
oh,
of a
well,
bad
you know.
boy.
Yeah, I love Hayden. He's a bit of a
Yeah.
bad boy.
Yeah, you can tell there was real chemistry with them, just not on camera
Just
at
off
all
screen.
ever. Yeah, yeah.
They saved it all for
Secretly
off screen.
in rooms alone.
But like all the
Did
other
they date? Is that a thing?
I don't think that was a thing, like officially, or because
He dated Rachel Bilson for a long
NataliePortman was my homepage.
It was your homepage. Great.
Yes. And my mom was very surprised when I started dating a lady this year.
Very
So
surprised.
yeah,
Okay,
she just
okay.
should have been on my computer a little bit more.
Mhm.
She could have figured it out. But yeah, she talks about him a lot in a
Interesting.
flirty way in these featurettes,
Right.
in like an unguarded way. And it's very giggly.
Good for you, Natalie. How old
Yeah.
is Natalie when this movie's being made?
18?
No, she's not that young. You keep thinking she's
I
too
think
young.
she's older because she's playing like a 24-year-old or something.
Remember,
Yeah,
yeah,
which is crazy.
Insane.
Insane.
looking it up.
Paolo is an artist. I want to harp on this for a second.
Sure.
You guys talk about Paolo.
We at this point did not know that artists existed in this universe. We've seen no sign
True.
of it. For a culture that is a galaxy that in sections is so decadent, right?
Sure.
Like Naboo, these fucking palace and like people sitting on the thrones
Marble,
and right, eating fruit.
fruit,
And then-
digital fruit.
And then we see these fucking planets like Tatooine where everyone's struggling to live. It's like these are circumstances in which art would exist classically, historically.
Yeah.
Right?
She's 21.
Yeah.
21 years
21.
old.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right.
I think drinking age in Australia is 16, so she would have been killing it anyway.
They start drinking when they're babies in that
Yeah.
that garbage pail of a country. I'm just kidding. Australia's great.
What kind of art do you think Paolo does? Because throughout these two films,
Space art.
we never see a musician, right?
Mm,
We never see paintings.
no.
Mm.
Like the decorations at these various homes are just like
We see
Tapestries and
one sculpture in the Jedi Temple. I remember noticing
we see the
it.
busts.
We see the bust, but then we also see the big sculpture.
There's like a warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe Paolo's a sculptor, an official sculptor for the Jedi Temple on Coruscant.
Hayden Christensen, also 21. They're the same age
Oh my god.
at the time.
The
They were both
perfect-
born in 81. Oh, Ben is
Wait,
showing
so
us
Ben.
Hayden on Tiger Beat and the cover of Tiger
He
Beat.
looks really cute.
Yeah, very cute. NSYNC, shock report. Are they really over? Spider-Man, True Love. Kristen caught in Toby's web.
Hey.
Kirsten. Bow Wow's Big Secrets. Steal Alexis Bledell's Beauty Styles. A lot of good stuff up
They
there.
got a story on O-Town.
Oh, yeah. They were the stars. Oh, no, we were the stars of their Liquid Dreams. Go on.
Yeah.
Keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. Are you still looking this up, David?
I was just looking at who he's dated, but it's really just Rachel Bilson, you know. That's Hayden Christensen's like major romance. They're still together. They have a baby.
Oh my god,
The
good
baby's
for
called
them.
baby?
Yeah, it's called Briar Rose, which is that is the name of
That's
Sleeping Beauty.
Hideous, yeah.
Bizarre.
That's crazy.
All I'm imagining is this baby with insanely long fingers.
And fish
I'm
lips.
Getting
It
sick.
came out with man-sized fingers.
No, Rachel Bilson's a beautiful woman. I'm sure she
is
contributed to that baby's beautiful
Heart of
DNA.
Dixie.
Mm.
That's all I got.
Just because I've done so much defending of Hayden Christensen outside of this one film on this podcast,
Well, really just for Life is a House.
and Shattered Glass.
Oh, and yeah, Shattered Glass. She's good in Shattered Glass.
I want to point out that Hayden Christensen is perhaps even worse in this than he is in this in the film Jumper with Rachel Bilson.
Right, where they met. I have never seen Jumper.
Oh, Jumper's a catastrophe.
Yeah. Which is weird because Doug Liman directed it, and he's a good director.
Yeah, and he's better at big budget,
Yeah.
special effects driven stuff than most people. I think perhaps Hayden Christensen gets lost in movies of this size
Mm.
and should stay on small character dramas.
Yeah, or maybe just not work anymore like he does now.
Yeah, just take care of a baby.
Yeah.
I think that's for the best. He
okay.
talks his you know, you're talking about his accent in this movie, and I want to go back to these special features,
No,
but
this is what we need.
he talks exactly the
yeah,
same way.
that's just his voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is his voice, but in the special features, he's like more charming because he's not trying to seem serious.
Totally.
And also, he's not wrapping his, tongue around this terrible dialogue. It's not
Yeah.
just George Lucas. We keep not mentioning this. Someone else wrote this screenplay with George Lucas.
I think his name's Jonathan Hale.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
It's
He
weird.
was a writer on the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles.
So he's sort of a Lucasfilm like stable guy, maybe, and
Yeah.
just polished up some of the dialogue.
But enough to get a credit. I mean,
Yeah.
no, because Stoppard, we've noted this.
Yes,
Tom
Stoppard.
Stoppard, noted playwright, also did a polish on some of
He's
this
done
dialogue.
polishes on so many.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if he was worth the money this time.
I don't think so.
It's
But, like-
insane to think that this is what polished.
Right.
is.
It's fascinating to think like, what did this
Sand,
look like
I
before?
hate sand. It's coarse. It gets between your fingers.
So yeah, all right. They go on this retreat. And they have discussions about politics.
Yep.
And the nature of politics.
Yeah.
They have discussions about Paolo.
Mm-hmm.
What else do they talk
Well,
about?
there's the moment where they're standing. It's when they talk about sand. She's talking about because this is an important moment.
I
To
know
talk
it's
about.
the craziest.
This is
thing.
the craziest scene in the whole movie. She's leading him through, and she's going, "This is where we used to come on retreats, so it's familiar to me. This, and that. Remember, we used to lie on the ground in the sand all day. Like she's like having this
she's
nostalgia
reminiscing.
moment,
Right.
And he just goes, "Oh, I hate sand.
Now, to be fair, he grew up on a planet that is entirely sand.
Too much sand.
Makes sense that he wouldn't like sand.
Dare I say it? Too much sand."
He doesn't say, which he maybe should have said, like, sand reminds me of my life as a slave.
Right, he goes,
he
yeah.
says, it's coarse and it gets caught in my fingers. And Hayden Christensen says the word coarse in the way that you've never heard a human pronounce the word coarse this way before.
Right, and then she goes like, "You like control, don't you?" Like it
Right.
becomes this like
It's a bit of a 50 Shades thing.
right,
Yeah.
and then he's like, "I guess so," and then he starts touching
He
her
like
arm.
wipes her arm.
Yeah, he like does like he wipes a booger off her arm, and
Or
then
on her arm.
right, but it's like he's kind of like trying to call her bluff, go like, "Huh, you don't want to."
Well,
And
he
she's-
says
You
it's
wanna hold
not
hands?
like everything here, which is soft
Oh,
and
yes!
smooth.
Oh,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ!
Right, of course.
Soft and smooth.
He
Soft
says he
and
loves her.
smooth.
He's implying that he loves her and thinks she's beautiful because she's not like sand.
Hey, man, that's the kind of talk that'll get people married.
Right. So he's
Secret married.
right. So he goes soft and he touches her arm and she like kind of looks, but she doesn't stop it. So then he starts touching her back, and they're like staring at each other while he's like playing like fucking octopus hands in the small of her back, and then he just starts kissing her.
Octopus hands.
Octopus
Meanwhile, the entire theater has gone to the bathroom because
Right.
this was so horrendous.
Right.
It's like, all right, this is a long movie. I need my break.
This is my favorite joke in the entire movie. This is maybe the one thing in the film that I laugh at fully that isn't said by Dexter Jettster, Watto, or Elon Suzbagano, my holy trinity. And it's a joke delivered by your main guy, Johnny Dubs.
Johnny Depp.
Wait, who the fuck is
The
Johnny?
two of them start kissing. Across the Stars blares. Da, na,
yeah.
na, na, na. It's like the most triumphant version of the theme yet. And then she goes, wait, and the music cuts off abruptly. Yeah, he does almost a record scratch. He goes, da, na, na, na. Like he like closes the bag.
Sure.
I remember that killing at the theater I saw it at. People
Wow.
going ballistic.
I do not remember that going. The only thing I remember them going ballistic for was Yoda.
Yeah, me too.
It feels self-aware.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like Johnny Dubs knows where the joke is and is making it.
Sure, yeah. Well,
In a way
as we
that
were
George
saying,
is
he's the best
He's
storyteller
trying
in
to,
the
like,
movie.
Yeah, hide some personality and cleverness into this movie in any way that he can.
Sneak it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he sort of does it.
She's like, we can't do this.
Right.
Then they,
She does, for some reason.
She says-
He should be the one who's like, I'm a Jedi, I'm
Yeah.
not allowed.
right.
She's more mature.
That's true.
She's a galactic
She's a
senator.
senator. She's got a lot to lose.
I guess so.
She's got a lot to lose in this world
dating-
of constant emotions.
Dating the, like, chosen one in the Jedi is, like, seems like, that could work out for you.
Yeah, but it's like it doesn't feel like outside of the Jedi Council anyone knows he's the chosen one.
That's true.
No
He's
one's
just
talking
some-
about
yeah,
it.
he's just some peon to
He's
everyone
just
else.
some guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they just keep on hanging out.
There is, I just want to mention this
Yeah.
deleted scene where she takes him to meet her family and they have a meal together.
What?
I've heard
Yes.
of this scene. I've
There
never
are
watched
two deleted
it.
scenes at
Yeah.
her home.
What?
Yes.
Griffin.
I can't believe
The first deleted
Who
scene.
plays her family?
I do not know.
No
You
one
guys would
recognized
probably know.
Christensen. He does a Back to the Future Part 2, and he plays the mom and the dad.
He does a great job. This is his best work. They meet her mom, her sister, and her dad, and also like her nieces. And it's they have like a meal which looks to be like purple potatoes just boiled and peeled. Yeah, it looks
Hey man, they're all so skinny and
Disgusting.
handsome on
Sure.
Naboo. They gotta,
Yeah.
they gotta keep their diets.
Health
Yeah,
nuts.
exactly.
so like he shares like a knowing glance with the dad, like because they're like, oh, like are you in danger? And she's like, no, I'm not. I promise. And he goes, actually, she is. And like they sort of like smirk together, him and the dad. It's
Where
weird.
it's like, ugh, Padme
yeah,
with
like
her.
we know better.
Yeah, right.
And then there's like a gossip sesh in the kitchen with the ladies where Padme comes in and they're like, why didn't you tell us about this guy? Like, you never bring a boyfriend home. And she's like, he's not my boyfriend. And
Oh my god,
Security
Mom.
detail.
it's fabulous.
That's-
I wish
why
it was
isn't
in the
that
movie.
in the movie?
Because, according to Rick McCallum, the producer,
Not producer Ben.
no, not producer, but
Purdue Rick.
producer Rick said that George thought there was too much emotion and
Oh, classic.
I
This
think
old
I
chestnut.
literally wrote the quote down. So
Okay.
just give me 1 second.
That's fine. And we can reference the fact that in The Phantom Menace, George Lucas complained about the amount of emotion in some of the scenes where Anakin
I had
is
to
a poor
reshoot it
slave.
because he was crying too much about the fact that he would never see his mother again.
He literally says about this scene and the next scene where Padme shows him her bedroom and like talks about her work with like charity groups on other planets.
This sounds really boring.
Rachel has produced a notebook with a verbatim quote written down.
He said, "It's emotional. It gives her a lot of character, but ultimately it wasn't necessary."
Oh my god. But we get like 8 scenes of her and Anakin rolling around.
Right. So yeah, they kiss. The kiss is aborted. That's like the first scene when they get to the retreat.
Yeah, it's pretty fast.
Right. And then she's like, we can't. So
Right.
they just keep on doing the most romantic things in the world.
Right.
Like they're not-
Rolling around in
It's The
fields of
Bachelorette.
daisies.
It's a beautiful episode of The Bachelorette.
Yeah,
on Naboo.
sunsets and
Right.
water and
Fancy
yeah, and
meals.
giant ticks.
Like the-
giant ticks.
He shows off for the fancy meal. He levitates the pair.
Here's a note. I want a quick sidebar here. So when they cut to the scene with the fancy haircut, at the beginning of the scene,
sorry.
a lady comes out and places 2 plates and serves the food to them.
Sure.
Who the fuck is that lady?
don't
Is this retreat like? Is this like
It's like
a
Ex
resort?
Machina. It's like she's a robot.
But that's my question. Is
Spoiler
that
alert.
like because they were traveling the two of them alone, right?
Yeah.
And it feels like they're just like hanging out in this.
Is that a
field.
handmaiden?
But the handmaid was with it. Was she like?
Is
we're
it
going to
like
this
a
resort, can you
secondary
ship one
handmaiden?
out? Can you ship one out to
A
me?
reserve handmaiden?
I think they're in like an exclusive restaurant under
Right.
different names, and this is like the back room that you like
yeah,
reserve
it's like
ahead
Mickey
of
Mouse and Marilyn Monroe. Those are the names they use.
Or like
Yeah.
Atlantis in the Bahamas. Like, is it like a resort where they're
Yeah.
like taking care of everything? It's like food,
Super
shelter.
moody.
Right.
testicle creatures.
Yeah. So there is a point we should just talk about the fact. Yeah, Anakin rides a testicle creature for her amusement.
Yeah,
I
he
guess.
he rides a ball tick,
Yeah.
and then he's like standing on it, and he's
Yeah,
like
it's
balancing.
terrible
and she's
CGI.
like,
It looks
oh
bad.
My God,
Yeah.
Annie! And then he falls over and he crashes.
he
and
grabs
you're like,
her.
Oh fuck, Christopher Reeve. He's like lying on
That's
the
what we're
ground.
all
Too
thinking.
soon. Too soon.
Lying on the ground, and she's like, "Oh no, Annie!" And she like runs in her dress and her headdress and her
Mm-hmm.
like. It almost collapsed under the weight of everything on her, and then she turns around. He's giggling like a lunatic, and they start rolling around in the field
Lunatic.
like a lunatic.
Mhm.
So they're doing all this romantic stuff, even though they've made it very clear they can't.
Yeah, but it's only a matter of time. I do like there's that one scene where he's meditating,
Yeah,
which actually suggests some like inner turmoil. The other things do not.
After
Like,
his nightmares, we get
Yeah.
the scene of him saying
trying to chill
mom
out.
and being sweaty
oh yeah, and he's
in his bed.
bare
And
chested,
Just bare,
not wearing a shirt.
not wearing a shirt, tiny little nipples, and he's going, Mom, no, Mom. And then the scene ends, and then he's meditating.
Right. And then we've talked about last week, how that spurs them to go off and see his mom, and he can have his big emotional moment.
Now, Rachel, we talked about in the past when we were doing the Phantom podcast, and that was our focus, the Phantom Menace. You talked about how you liked the Phantom Menace, but really for you that movie was about Shmi. You had a big Shmi thing.
I love Shmi.
Shmi's great. We all love
love
Shmi,
I love Pernilla August. I've never seen her in another film.
but she's
But
fantastic.
she's great. She's a great lady. And I actually wanted to touch on this Klieg Lars thing.
Please.
Because I know last week you guys were saying, like, oh, like he bought her first.
Right.
And
a little
then,
creepy.
I don't know. I think that they fell in love, like in the markets of Tatooine. Like,
right.
you know, Shmi's sort of independent anyway from Watto in the Phantom Menace. Like she lives separately or seems that way. And in Attack of the Clones, we hear that like, oh, she's going off and picking mushrooms off these like moisture things. So like she's like doing things by herself. So it's fair to assume that she was also doing that when she was still a slave, like going on errands for Watto.
I get what you're coming to. That they fell in love,
I
and
think
she
they
was
fell in
like,
love and he
FYI,
freed
I'm
her.
a slave, and he was like, I'll take care of
I'll
that.
do
You
for
think
whatever I have
he,
to.
quote unquote, bought her?
But but he basically bought her freedom.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I think that's what happened.
Do you think that then that Shmi's actually like a femme fatale who is like, how do I get out of this? I need to work a man around my
Oh,
finger,
man,
you know?
I never thought about
That's how I
that.
earn my freedom.
Well, she sure got her comeuppance if that's what
It's
she
true.
got, you know.
Gotta push me.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, because
That's
Watto presents it the opposite way, but Watto also doesn't know anything about love.
No.
That's true.
He goes, "Hey, she got blood. I heard they even married her." Like it's like that was the afterthought. Like that happened down the road.
Right.
But Watto wouldn't fucking know if it was happening under his own penis nose. Like he wouldn't. He wouldn't sense it. That thing doesn't have a good sniff for love. Okay. So there's the
they have their-
fireside conversation where he's like so angsty about it, where he's like, it's like fucking tearing me up inside.
This is why the movie it doesn't work. Because like you can never believe that you would be in love with this kid because he's so annoying.
He's a
sucks.
brat, and he
Yeah.
said, like,
Yeah.
what does he say? He says, like, he says something about being upset about the kiss you never should have given me.
Yeah. There's
Because,
a whole
you know,
thing about
The
that.
kiss will
That-
turn to a scar, and the scar will drive me crazy.
He's out
He
of
says
it.
that the one kiss will turn to a scar.
Like, this is an abusive relationship
Oh,
from
yeah.
this point on. We don't
Yeah.
really realize it necessarily.
It's mostly abusive of the English language. though.
Yes.
But can I make this point? Because we're talking about the interviews. He's kind of fun in the interviews. Like, he acts like a 21-year-old. Like,
Hayden.
he's joking around and stuff. He's like, yes, great. I get to carry a lightsaber. It's fun.
Right.
And then every scene, he's so self-serious. And I guess it's because it's like, oh, I'm playing someone who is a Jedi and has been trained to
Right.
subdue their
Maybe he's being
emotions.
directed that way. Yeah. You gotta. Yeah.
But the correct performance for this film would be someone who, like, now that he's left alone with someone vaguely his own age, is, like, reverting back to his emotions and being fun and not just dour, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, other than the scene where she asks him, she puts him on blast about not being able to love, where he's kind of smirking, where he's like, well, Jedis aren't allowed to love or show compassion, which I consider unconditional love. Like the rest of the scenes, he's always so fucking sour lemon face.
Yep. Why would this be the guy? This be the guy to break down your wall.
But once again, Sal Bibble's the only guy you have around you.
That's true. Limited options. And Jar Jar.
So he has this nightmare about Shmei.
Yeah.
He's like, come with me. I got to figure out what's going on with my mom.
No. She is like, we're going to go figure out what's going on with your mom. And he's like, I don't know. And she's like, well, I'm going to Tatooine and you better come.
No. He says that like he's got to go rescue her, and she sort of is listening and being
I
supportive.
see. And she's
he goes, I'm sorry, I don't have a choice.
Right. But she comes with him. She's like, well, I'm going to come with you. And he's like, no, you can't. And she's like, well, I'm going.
Yeah.
Meets his family.
I suppose.
Kind of.
His new family, who he's also meeting.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Watto meets Watto, his old family.
Sure.
But she knew him already.
Yeah. She spent a lot of time with Watto.
Oh, yeah. You know that Griffin is an Anakin birther and believes that Watto is the true father of Anakin, not the Force.
I've heard this theory. I'll buy it.
Yeah.
He slays some Tusken Raiders.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
She is not put off by this. She's like, Anakin, it's fine.
Yeah, he tells her
We all
that
make
he murdered
mistakes.
children, and she responds by giving a big ol' hug.
She's like, you shouldn't be so hard on yourself.
I think she's got some emotional issues of her own because he comes back, and we know that Shmi is dead because he brought her body back.
True.
And he's being really emotional, and he has not yet revealed that he killed all these Tusken Raiders. And she goes, Annie, what's wrong? And you're like, well, I mean, my mom just died.
Yeah, why ask?
In front of me.
Yeah.
And then I carried her body back.
Just go like, hey.
Even if you just know those details, like.
It's true. She's kind of like, I thought we'd moved on from that already.
Right.
What else is wrong?
Don't make him restate it. What? I mean, speaking to the idea that she has some emotional issues, she was pushed into being the queen of a planet.
Sure.
When she was 12.
At its time of crisis, too.
Right.
Let's not forget.
So, she definitely peaked too early. That's going to
true.
fuck a kid up.
That weighs on her, right.
If you have that much power, you're never going to get that much power again in your life.
Not only was I a queen, but I was like the hero queen who like united this planet's races and pushed back an invading force, and I was only 12 years old. Oh, my God.
At at 24, she's some old dame.
No, right. Yeah. She's a senator, gridlock, you know.
What were you going to say, Lauren?
Well, I was going to say, I read that she is the one who instated the 2-term limit on being a queen
what
of
a
Naboo.
hero.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was just too precocious for her own good, really. She's demoted herself.
She should have been dictator for life.
She should have.
As Anakin would have preferred.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Because he likes dictators.
Yeah. He'd like to dick her taters.
Nope.
What?
No?
Nope.
No, definitely not.
Nope.
No? Ben
All
doesn't
right.
like it.
So after that, they go to Geonosis.
They get a message from Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I
who's
guess
like,
that he's been kidnapped.
I tracked Jango down. He's on a planet called Geonosis. Come over here. And then his hologram is interrupted by destroyer droids.
Yeah, it's pretty funny that the camera keeps rolling.
Yeah.
I'd like to know if it just like literally just keeps going and then it's just, you know.
Do you think anyone ever accidentally sends a hologram of them like peeing?
Probably.
Do you think there's like a Naked Gun
We
hologram?
never see the other side of that.
I thought you were going to say we never see a character use the bathroom.
That is also true.
That
is never discussed.
Yeah.
But we never see like someone like standing on like the camera thing and like talking into. We hear them talking to each other like in audio forms,
right?
But we never see what it looks like to beam a message.
Yes.
Anyway, it's not a major.
So they're
complaint.
like going to Geonosis. Let me change into my tightest jumpsuit, my smartest shawl.
Sure.
A whole bunch of battles, right?
At least it's white too. You know,
Yeah.
that's good sun. There's
Sure,
a lot of
right.
sun.
Temperature control, yeah.
Yeah, and sand and dust looks really cool on it.
And it's very course though. That sand.
They
out.
they make
Gets everywhere.
rough gets everywhere. Not soft like you and your arm. David just touched my arm. I forgot to mention that while I was describing the touching earlier, I wouldn't stop touching David's arm to show what it was like on a podcast. I had to illustrate my point.
Oh my God.
Okay, they make it through the crazy droid factory maze.
Right. Oh, there's all that, but that's not romance. We'll get to all that.
No.
later.
But here's
They make
this
out
is
during
scene.
the factory.
So then they're captured. They're captured by the bug
Of course,
people.
of course.
And now the two of them are in this like chariot.
They're being prepared.
And they're chained
for,
up.
Whatever the pit,
Yeah.
gladiator pit. But remember, there's this scene where they're talking to each other.
And she's like, Anakin, if any before
They think they're gonna die.
this happens, I just want you to know that I love you.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Beautiful.
He doesn't reply with like, "I love you too."
yeah, he's
I thought we agreed that
remember
we
earlier
couldn't be
you
in
said,
love.
And we live a lie. Life's secrets.
That would mean living a lie.
And she said the secret would destroy our lives.
Blah, blah.
And she says, I actually like this line.
You like anything would be better after the line.
No, I
he
think
delivers.
this one line's cute. I think
Okay.
this one line gets to like feeling like an actual young romance.
Shut up, Dick.
She goes, I thought we agreed we weren't going to fall in love because this and that, and the secret would do this and would eat us up and destroy our lives.
Just Hayden Christensen's delivery is worse than Griffin, like verbatim, kind of going like, yada, 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 yada.
Does destroy our lives. The point is he ends with, and it would destroy our lives. And then she sort of like looks out towards like the door of the arena and she goes, I think our lives are about to be destroyed.
That is not a good line.
I like
I
it.
can't
It's
believe
great.
we wasted
It's
all
a
this
great
time
line.
on that. It's not good.
I like it.
It's like kind of, yeah. I mean, that we know. That's why she's
I got
saying
nothing
it.
to lose. Some monster's about to eat me.
Right.
And then she's like, but I do love you. And I think Portman actually kind of does a good job.
She's
this
fine.
I think she does a great
She's fine.
job in this scene.
She actually
We get the good
captures
music.
the emotion of like a doomed love.
Mm-hmm.
The music plays, they kiss as the doors open and they're wheel and the chair. I mean,
Wheeled out to be executed.
I
Basically.
think this is
In
kind
a
of
very public and graphic manner.
in a weird way.
A very weird way.
Yeah.
And it's also doesn't help that Newt Gunray is up there and he's like, is she going to die in front of me? Yeah.
Oh, right, because it's very, very passively, like, offhandedly mentioned that, oh, I realized that Newt Gunray is the one who was trying to kill Pat.
I guess so. Is
yeah,
he
it's
the
mentioned
only one?
like in one sentence.
That
Right.
one hologram that gets interrupted by the destroyer droid
Uh-huh.
has like 17 plot points
and you're just
mentioned
like,
very casually. It's like, I got here, Jango Fett, he's here on Geonosis, Count Dooku's here, he's been establishing a droid army that Newt Gunray's going to use to unite the four federations to fight against the Republic, who now have the clone army. By the way, Newt Gunray's the one who is trying to kill Oh no, a droid!
because, and we'll get to more of this when we talk about the climax, because yeah, it's like the Trade Federation, and then there's like a robot, like a Tin Man, so I guess he's like the Robot Federation, like the...
Oh, Wat Tambor.
Yeah, he's like, what is he, like the Machinists Federation?
Yeah.
It's like a bunch of trade unions, basically.
Sandhill, Poggle the Lesser.
Yeah, Sandhill, who's like the finance chairman or something, he's like Wall Street.
Yeah.
Oh, is he the
he's
guy with like
very-
the wiggly pale head?
Yes.
Yeah, he's got kind of a tall, alien-y, sort of bulbous
I read
head.
that he is Dooku's master
No.
in disguise.
Wait,
What?
no. Darth
Am I
Plagueis,
being-
Darth Plagueis, who is only discussed on Wikipedia
Right.
and probably in comic books or whatever, he is that race.
Okay,
So
I'm racist.
But no, you're not. yeah, you're racist.
Ah, shit.
Well, but maybe he is him in disguise. I don't know.
Okay.
He might
Maybe
be.
that's
I
an
don't know. Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
Okay.
You
yeah.
got me. I'm gonna look it up.
it up.
And then, who's Poggle the Lesser? Which one? Is
Poggle
he the
the
Bug
He's
Man?
the Geonosis,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So who are they? Bug people, I guess.
Yeah, they're in charge of entertainment.
Well, but then
They
they're
build
also
murdering
this
people.
army.
They're
Yeah,
building.
they build
They're
this-
building like shit. Why would the
Yeah.
bugs? Well,
they're
they have a
building these
factory.
droids.
so-
Yeah.
Droid
If you've
factory.
got it, use it.
And they're building some kind of ultimate weapon. We see like plans for an ultimate weapon.
Mhm.
It's
It looks
really hard to make
cool.
out what
It looks cool, but like that's like another
But we have no
dangling
idea what
thread.
it does.
Yep.
Yeah.
It feels a little like the Hudsucker proxy pitch, though.
Yeah, that's definitely what it
Like,
feels
they
like.
go
That's
like-
what I thought of immediately.
Oh, they go like, look, here's the ultimate weapon. It's just a circle.
You're right. Yeah, right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
instead of a circle on a piece of paper, it's just like a circle on a hologram. And he goes like, for deaths.
Right.
That's my Hudsucker.
You know,
Instead
for
of-
kids, right? I
I
love
said,
the
for
Hudsucker
deaths. Hudsucker proxy is one of my favorite movies. But
So
so
good.
we get wheeled out to their death, and Newt Gunray is watching them. I think it's kind of... I'm a sucker for, like, people confessing their love
Sure.
right before they think they're going to die.
Right. Which they almost never are.
Yeah,
Right. Like, they're going to make it.
right.
But it is perfectly. Anakin's lightsaber is gone. Like, there's,
I mean, one could argue that love helped them power through.
No question. Actually, no, I don't make the argument.
No, I think that's wrong.
Right? Because I think the thing that helps them power through
She's
is...
totally independent. The Force helps them. Obi-Wan helps them. And then the
Right.
Jedi, all the remaining living Jedi
Yeah.
showing up.
She's got a gun.
She's got a gun. Where does she get the gun?
Yeah, where does she yank that from? I can't remember.
Somebody like throws it to her when the clones arrive. But she's like very like with it from the beginning of this execution thing. She's got her bobby pin.
Yeah.
She frees
She
herself.
climbs up the pillar.
First of all, she has a bobby pin, which
Yeah.
seems
Very good.
insane to me.
Right.
That's what is holding up her hair. Like that's part of it.
It's
you know,
probably like
there's
a
nothing like a
billion bobby
space thing. Yeah, but I don't know. I love it. I love that she has a bobby pin and that she does the old like sneaks it in her mouth and then gets free while
Classic.
they're not paying attention.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going
A
on in that
lot
pit.
of stuff going on.
They survive. The clones come.
And yeah,
They
we will
take
do
them
more
away.
on this later.
Anakin pushes her out of the ship because he doesn't want her to be in danger. She's like, I'm
That's
coming
true.
with you. He's like, no, and he pushes her out into the
Yeah,
sand.
that's a bit of a dick move.
A real dick
Yeah.
move.
And then, of course, he loses an arm in a battle.
Right. Okay.
what
Saves the
Stormtrooper-
day. We're not even like seeing Padme other than like a couple clone troopers.
Yeah, right. They
Sto-
gather
They're
her.
clone troopers in the storm, and they come out.
Go on.
They come out.
Go on.
And they're like, we got you. And they take her away, right?
Yeah.
Saves the day. Yoda fights Dooku. We'll talk about all this
my
later.
God. Oh my
And then
God.
it's like as they're wrapping everything up, cut to the retreat. The retreat where she used to go on school
the
holidays.
marriage.
Secret wedding.
Oh, man.
Secret silent
It's-
wedding.
Like we said, it's the one, it does work. It
R2,
does.
C-3PO's witnesses.
Yeah.
Their waitress from earlier officiating. He's got a robot hand.
Boy, oh boy.
The ring would probably be hard to fit on that robot finger because they're
Well,
really
put it on the
skinny.
other
You could just
hand.
build it on.
Yeah,
That's
well,
true.
Hey,
Built in.
Solder it on. You know?
welded on. Yeah.
Mhm.
And they kiss, and that's the end of the movie.
That's the last scene in the movie?
That's the last shot.
Yeah,
is the
right.
two of them kissing.
Yeah.
Successful
It's beautiful.
romance.
It'd be good
Sunset.
if the last shot was just Obi-Wan kind of just sitting being like, that'd be great.
Yeah. So they're trying to present it as like a doomed love story, fighting against the odds.
This, we know that this romance is doomed. Do you know why we know that?
Why?
Because Anakin says it over and over again.
This doom's gonna destroy our lives.
He won't shut up about it.
But that's the thing. Like most doomed love stories, it's like, oh god, class. Like Titanic, it's like come from different worlds.
Right.
There's a ship and there's another man involved. And this is just the two of them being like, we probably shouldn't, right?
This seems like a bad idea.
And then they do, and then they're like, wait, no, stop. We really shouldn't.
This
Like, it's
seems like a
frustrating.
bad idea.
It's like, just fuck. You guys just want to fuck. You're both just young people. You never get to spend time around people your own age.
We've talked about this
Just have a fun
endlessly,
sex time.
where it's like the movie is like they can't do it, and you're like, why not? That seems fine. They
Yeah,
seem to
they
like each other. The
seem
movie's
to.
like the rules, Jedi rules, and we're like, we didn't know about those.
You tell me Mace Windu's not getting some?
Yeah, man, Mace Windu could collect.
You
just,
tell me-
just go around town and just collect.
You tell me Yaddle never gets her yiddle yaddle?
I resigned from this podcast.
You
in
tell me-
protest.
You tell me Uriel Puff doesn't go to those fucking
Oof.
queer men
Go on.
bars?
Aquarium bathhouse.
Doesn't go to that glory hole place in space?
I really
But
was
the
hoping
glory-
you would make a Kit Fisto joke.
Oh
in
yeah,
Here, but
Yeah,
Kit
Kit
Fisto
Fisto
has
gets-
never been Kit
gets-
Fistoed. He has 6 fingers too. Let's not forget.
6 fingers.
There's that scene where Kit Fisto goes like,
Ah.
yeah, and, it's like, and then he's like,
that's-
ha
That's a spicy fist.
Oh. We'll talk about Kit Fisto. He's getting. I think we're gonna do 10 episodes just on Kit Fisto.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's our next series.
Yeah, it's called
Yeah,
The
Fist
Chronicles of Fisto.
Fist and Kit.
That's not going to happen.
It's happening.
The UCB is firing us as we speak.
Rachel.
Yes.
Fill us all.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes, maybe.
How does the love plot of this film work for you today? Were there any nostalgic pangs remembering
Yeah.
what it felt like? Or did it all just lay cold like a bunch of dead Gungans?
I think. I mean, definitely leaning toward Dead Cold Gungans
Okay.
for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The only like twinges of like nostalgia came from the music
Mhm.
and maybe from this, like you're saying, the execution, love confession. I was like, okay, maybe, and then you know the rest of the movie happens and it's all still kind of bad and.
Because the stakes are actually high in that moment. It's like, oh, they
Yeah.
actually might die. Them confessing their love means something, and they're not just creating artificial blocks.
Right. I mean, every scene of them before that talking about love you could just take the dialogue from one and plop it onto any of the other ones and it would be not different. Like them in the refugee
Mhm.
like cruiser thing and like them at the lake. Like you could switch any of those around basically and it would be the same thing.
It definitely feels like a movie made by someone who hates love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. George Lucas met his wife at a business conference.
His current
His
wife.
current wife.
Because he was married in the
80s,
70s or
I think.
80s. Yeah.
And his wife left him for a man who was installing stained glass windows in their house.
I did not know that. Stained glass windows. Really, George.
An artist like Paolo.
Oh! Paolo!
His wife was his editor on his first couple movies.
Uh-huh. THX and the like. Yeah,
and
THX,
American
American
Graffiti,
Graffiti.
yeah.
And then he didn't work for a while. We didn't talk about that period.
Yeah.
A lot of people theorize that she was kind of like the missing element, that she was maybe the humanity to his work.
I see. Because he was not with his current wife when Attack of the Clones is being made, right? No, he meets her later.
Yeah, I don't think they met until 2003 or.
All right.
Like
so
that.
maybe, they were having a conference about Attack of the Clones, probably.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
But
that's
he
probably
was a
what it
man who lived in a castle by himself, adopted like 3 children.
filled with stained glass.
Yeah, and was just like, I don't need love. I can raise children on my own. I make art. I'm fine. Like, and then now it's
George.
like, oh, George,
Come on the podcast, George.
you backed yourself into a corner. You got to make a movie about love. And he's like, oh, fuck, what does love sound like? I talk about sand.
I wonder if it was like there was 4 pages of sand talk, and Stoppard was like, "Can we lose all of this?" And Lucas was like, "No way." And he was like, "All right, I'm gonna do what I can here."
I think I also saw Attack of the Clones 4 times in theaters.
I think I only saw it twice, maybe 3 times.
The
2 or 3 times.
the 4th time I saw it was the IMAX re-release.
Oh yeah.
Now, at the time, IMAX technology was limited, and so there was a hard cap on how many platters of film they could run into the projector.
So it sort of switches between IMAX and regular
No,
visions?
no, not even that.
They
It
just
was-
cut it out. You're saying they just edited the movie down.
Yes, exactly. No, it was they could only have a film be a certain length.
Because the film is about 2 hours and 20 minutes long.
2 hours and 22 minutes.
Yeah,
long.
which is about 45 to an hour minute, like too long.
Yeah.
I think it had to
45
be
minutes
2
long.
on the nugget.
Yeah.
It had to be 2 minutes
variant.
clean.
Uh-huh.
Like, no, I'm saying for IMAX limits.
2 hours total.
Like Interstellar's 3 hours long, I think.
It's close to 3 hours long.
And there was a big thing about how they had finally had the breakthrough where they could project 3 hours worth
Seeing
of footage.
Interstellar on an IMAX was one of my, like, it's so fucking good.
It's great.
Interstellar's the best. Can we
But
talk
the
about
IMAX film
Interstellar?
is so big, there's only so much of it they can store in the room with the projector. So it was like, okay, that was near
That was
3
then, this is
hours.
now.
Dark Knight was like 2.5. Like they kept on pushing it up to get longer and longer movies. But this time, this was one of like the first major films re-released in IMAX. It wasn't released in IMAX at the time. Like 5 months later, it came out in IMAX, and they fucking cleavered 20 minutes off the film.
The IMAX cut.
Yeah.
I would like to see it.
Me too.
Guess what they cut?
The romance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it being like 30-second versions of each scene.
Wow.
Hmm.
I wonder who did that. I wonder who was responsible for the editing. Like whether it was Ben Burt and the other editor, or if like an IMAX guy was just like, ugh.
Martha Lucas, George's
She came back.
Marsha Lucas. Yeah, she came back, edited his film without his permission, and he divorced her again.
Isn't that why Temple of Doom is supposedly so dark? Because George Lucas and Steven Spielberg have both just gotten divorced, or were going through divorces.
Yeah. The difference is that like Spielberg quickly remarried and found new love, and Lucas went on to hate all people.
For like 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rachel, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Of course, thank you so much for having me.
Great guest. You're a great friend. It's nice to
I like
see
your
you as
glasses,
always.
by the way. I
Thank
like the
you.
blue.
Thank you.
You can't. No one can see, but Rachel has blue glasses.
Just the frame.
Just the frame.
So tweet at Rachel, your dirty
not the
pigeon.
glasses.
Dirty pigeon.
On Twitter, you have a great Twitter. Everyone should follow you.
Best on Twitter.
Thanks, guys.
It's just talking about how. Does it happen with you where Rachel will occasionally like favorite tweets of mine from a while ago? She's obviously like going through my
I
feed.
go on my little sprees.
I like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's nice. I recommend it. I recommend following Rachel, and then maybe she'll follow you, and then maybe
Which is
you'll
a special
wake up
experience being followed by
to a
Rachel.
little spree.
Yeah.
But tweet at Rachel, tweet at us.
Tweet at Rachel Dolezal.
Skeleton fingers,
No,
spider
no,
fingers,
Spider fingers.
Spider fingers,
Hashtag
yes or
Spider
no.
Fingers, yes or
Padmé
no.
Dolezal, yes or no. Tweet if you want to ship Rachel and John Williams, because there's
Is he
clearly
married? Probably.
there's more chemistry between you and John Williams than there is between Padmé and Anakin.
You
in this
and a
movie.
sweaty John
I
Williams.
accept
Full
that.
stop.
Yeah, I fully embrace that. Yes.
As you fully embraced his sweaty body.
Oh, God, it was great. It was great. I thrived on that.
You said in your email there was a music video for Across the Stars.
There is an official music video
Okay.
for it's
Is
it's
it like
on
a
the
YouTube
DVD.
fan video, basically? It's just edited footage of their like
It's
rolling
literally
around.
just scenes from it's like, and it's not even just love scenes. It's like there'll be a scene of like Mace Windu being like, "We've got to do this," and then it's like, like it's
All right.
So John Williams isn't in the video. The video
no,
isn't
he
like.
is in it conducting stuff. It's a very weird music
We
video.
gotta
I
watch
suggest you check it out.
yeah, we're gonna check.
But
this
there
out.
aren't like slow motion, like Mark Romanek shots of like John Williams walking down the street, flipping up his collar, looking across the stars.
I would pay so much money to shoot that video.
man. John Williams is really on a high though, like because like the year before AI had come out, which is one of his greatest scores.
Great score.
Minority Report came out. That
Harry
year.
Potter
That
he
has
did
a
the year
great score.
before.
We were just talking about how the Harry Potter John Williams score is just like he was like, I nailed this theme. All right, the rest you can just copy paste from the other shit.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, that was like the
theme's
last
great.
time that he established like another iconic theme where it's like, oh fuck, he got exactly what the vibe of this
Yeah.
thing
Is that he hasn't done it again, has he? I suppose he hasn't been given a franchise like that to create a theme for.
No, I'd say Phantom Menace, Harry Potter, E.T., Jaws, Superman certainly is like, oh fuck, that is what Superman sounds like.
Raiders, Jurassic
Yeah.
Park.
But Superman and Harry Potter had that similar thing where they were already such big iconic
Right.
things.
And
You
the
heard it and you
music
were like,
evokes what
that
you
is right.
Yeah. Stepped right up to the plate.
Elfman did that with Batman, but other than like
Yeah.
that, like Williams is kind of the only guy who's really like, fuck, that's exactly what Superman sounds like musically.
Mm-hmm. I thought Hans Zimmer did a good job of Man of Steel. The overture.
yeah.
What's it called?
Yeah,
An Ideal of Hope.
I
or
think that's a
something
great
like
score.
that.
It's a terrible movie.
Yeah. Bad movie.
Bad movie.
Bad movie.
Rachel, anything you want to plug outside of your Twitter?
Yeah, what do you want to plug?
Can be anything in the world.
I just want to plug one more theory related to this podcast, which is that Jocasta Nu and Count Dooku
Had an
hooked
affair.
up,
Right?
Yeah.
and he got her to delete the Camino shit. It's like
No
that
question.
upstate New York prison escape thing.
No question. Two silver foxes.
Two silver foxes
Oh, boy.
looking for, one looking for love, one looking to take advantage.
Yeah. And he's like, no, I'll come back and visit soon.
Mm-hmm,
And she's like, because I deleted those files for you. And he's like, I know, I'm just really busy.
They don't exist. They don't exist. So that's
Yeah,
what I'm
Jocasta
plugging.
Nu sucks.
She sucks.
Yeah, she's like,
Fire her.
Ben, thoughts on Jocasta Nu? Ben is currently tangling wires around his fingers.
Ben,
No.
great job. What are we talking about next week?
Next week? I don't know yet.
I don't know yet either.
We got a good guest who I think we haven't confirmed yet.
Okay.
Was confirmed as of a week ago. We got to double confirm. But I'm going to throw it to them and see
What they wanna
what subject
cover.
they want to do.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks for being here,
Hopefully
Rachel.
it's Jocasta.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
Ah.
Thanks for being here, Ben. And Rachel, do you want to throw us out with an as always?
Oh, yeah, please.
I don't remember what we say as always.
No,
And
it's always
as
just some
always-
bullshit.
That's you gotta say something stupid. The bar's really low. I've done a terrible job for the last couple of weeks.
And as always, spider fingers.
Cool.